written by this, that is the Indian War of Independence, not the first War of Independence.
Question number 101 is that match the list 1 of authors with list 2.
Yes, Your Lordship.
So, V.D. Savarkar, the match, it was asked to be matched.
As per option B, Your Lordship, V.D. Savarkar book, as per the answer of BPSC, the first War of Independence. But this option in itself is wrong because the book written by V.D. Savarkar, that is the Indian War of Independence. So the name of the book, which is a subjective and objective, and that cannot be
That would not change the honor of the question. Let me tell you, MS Luna. Now, S.N. Sen has written which book? S.N. Sen has written which book? कौन सी किताब लिखा है S.N. ने? इसमें माइक नहीं काम करता क्या? हाँ? उनकी आवाज नहीं सुनाई देती है, इनको मेरी आवाज नहीं सुनाई देती है. Am I audible to you?
Yes, Your Lordship. No, I'm sorry. I am saying, Your Lordship, only on the first option, that is the book written by V.D. Savarkar, Your Lordship.
The answer was, I mean, match the list कहता है. So matching the list is done by what?
Matching the list, Your Lordship, they have to make a correct answer against which book is written by which author, Your Lordship. The option B says that the book written by V.D. Savarkar is the first War of Independence.
So we find a different pattern. It says match the list 1 of authors with list 2 of the books of 1857 and choose answers from the code given below.
Your Lordship, is it question number 101, Your Lordship, at page 110? Question number 101.
Stokes is true. And his feature is by right of elimination. I think there could be no confusion with respect to V.D. Savarkar not having written book on pagans and the Raj, civil rebellion and Indian peace and 1857. Is that correct? So therefore the leftover option for V.D. Savarkar would be that only. Of course, I mean, that's a mistake. It should be mistake free. We appreciate. But with respect to this, I don't think you have a case there.
Your Lordship, my respectful submission is only because of this one incorrect answer. My client is out of the way.
Otherwise also, because of this matching, you would have done mistake elsewhere also, no?
Your Lordship, but from the options available here, the correct option is
We
not.
are looking at the options.
Yes, Your Lordship.
V.D. Savarkar could not have been placed with any other book except this first War of Independence.
Yes, Your
Maybe
Lordship.
the name of the
Your Lordship, but
labeling,
none
the
of the.
nomenclature, the name may not be correct.
But
None of the above.
but
You answered none of the above.
yes, Your Lordship.
That is also incorrect.
Your Lordship, because the name of book cannot be changed, Your Lordship, from the source.
This reflects your absence of knowledge with respect to V.D. Savarkar's book.
Your Lordship, I have enclosed the
And
supporting documents.
therefore they chose not to make any alteration. And that's something which can be glossed over. That's something which can be glossed over, as you understand. I mean, with respect to others, had it been absolutely different, then perhaps you would have taken note of it.
Your Lordship, it may be a typographical error or
Now,
whatever, that I accept, but Your
on these
Lordship,
mistakes, if we take notice, then perhaps BPSC has no case. I mean, we can't do that.
Your Lordship, obviously there, but because of 1 mark in competitive exam, there is difference of.
That's right.
So that cannot be overlooked in such matters, especially when this
They
is.
could not have afforded to be wrong on any count. We understand.
Your Lordship, then my second line of argument, Your Lordship, is that the BPSC has asked for objection with regard to provisional answer key which is issued by
Yes.
the BPSC.
Yes.
They, on 8th of January 2025, they have given time limit of 11th January to 16th of January to give objection. And since more than 4 lakh students have filled the form and around 3,89,000 have appeared in the exam, so obviously there must be at least 1,000 or 2,000 objection, Your Lordship. But very next day, after the date closed for the invite of the objection, the very next day have issued the final answer key, which shows, Your Lordship, this objection which they have asked, they have not considered at all. And with regard to that, Your Lordship, I have also represented
And
after.
can we take it, I mean, just to give you a counterpoint, can we take it as an inference, as a ground for inferring that it was, the BPSC was casual about it?
Yes, Your Lordship, obviously they are casual
Can we
because
say
it's
that
just an eye wash, Your Lordship.
can we say that it has acted with great promptitude?
Your Lordship,
You're right. They should have taken some time. In case of any dispute, they should have referred it to a committee of experts. But they have. I mean, every examination taking body, we are seeing it of our experience because we conduct examinations
yes,
every year. We set the questions, we do everything. These mistakes can happen, but nonetheless, not that BPSC is absolutely fault-free. We know that.
Your Lordship,
They have
I
not shown
have.
that kind of alacrity. We understand. These are grounds. And what else? Oh, your point has been noted.
Your Lordship, to my respectful submission that I have lost my chance of selection because of this wrong answer which could
You
have
lost
been
by 1 mark.
by 0.67 marks, Your Lordship.
0.67.
Yes, Your Lordship. If this answer would be correct, be treated as correct answer, my answer, then I'll be true, Your Lordship. And this is not only, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, apart from this, one more submission, Your Lordship. Page 75, Your Lordship, where the cutoff marks is given for different category of candidates, Your Lordship. There we can find
Yes.
that the cutoff mark for ST candidate, scheduled tribe and scheduled tribe females, that is same, Your Lordship. So it means that the horizontal reservation which is there for the female candidates of Bihar who are appearing in BPSC, that has not been correctly considered in this calculation.
Why do you say that? Only because the number is same?
Yes, Your Lordship. Prima facie, it appears, Your Lordship. Obviously, I don't
Horizontal
have the
reservation, the
number.
cutoff is alright. Horizontal reservation would form a different category of analysis. Right?
Your Lordship, I have just
Maybe-
drawn Your
maybe
Lordship attention, Your
No,
Lordship.
take it by example also.
Yes.
There has to be a cutoff. For the reason that even if horizontal reservation, the basic threshold marks one should obtain.
Yes, Your Lordship.
And then if 65.33, if the place is vacant, the female candidate would have precedence over the male candidate. So therefore it is more in keeping with the principle of horizontal reservation. Not because of non-application of mine. On this score we have some reservation.
Apart from that, my lordship, horizontal reservation of 35% in favor of women candidate, percentage has to correlate with the my lord roster also.
No, actually, therefore this is no indicator of
It is not necessary that out of 100 it will work out to 35.
No. You have to go through that Gujarat judgment, which late, Mr. Pandey always refers to it. That judgment which traveled to Supreme Court from Gujarat, where everything has been explained how horizontal reservation has to be calculated.
Recently, my lord.
You forget about recently, the main case which is followed
There
as
is Gaurav Yadav and the BSNL case.
Gujarat, याद नहीं रहता है.
Gujarat.
Rajasthan, not Gujarat, yeah, Rajasthan. Yeah. What is it? Which judgment is this?
तो राजस्थान तो राजेश धारिया केस.
Rajesh
धारिया 2007.
Yes. You have to go through Rajesh Daria, you will not raise this objection. All right.
Your Lordship, apart from this, I will adopt the argument made by my senior, but only last submission, Your Lordship, in that regard.
We have taken note of your point. Let's. You have made sense to us. Let's see how do we incorporate.
Your Lordship, my only point is that the two separate preliminary exams for one exam which is not the part of the original argument.
That argument, that is the main plank of
Yes.
argument of Mr.
And the ratio.
Let him expand on it. Let him conclude today. You are adopting his argument.
Your Lordship, please consider these points that the answers are incorrect.
We have made-
BPSC is especially for this purpose.
Go
Your
with
Lordship,
some reluctance because V.G. Savarkar could be associated with only that book. The name of the book, they don't reflect that expertise. We understand that, but before making any statement against BPSC, we will have to hear them. We have taken note of it.
All right.
Conclude, Mr. Srivastava. By 11:10, we will ask Mr. AG to address us.
May your lordship,
And we will not interfere in between.
my lords must, because that gives us a newer dimension, my lord, and we.
This for you to keep the time limit.
My lord, yes. Yesterday, my lord, I had taken my lords through some of the defective questions, the objections that had been submitted on behalf of some of the candidates, and my lord, how they have not, the defects could not be cured by them on the basis of the erroneous model answers alone, my lord, the evaluation of candidates was carried out, and on that basis, my lord, they have been declared to be successful for participating in the examination. There are a few questions left, my lord. If my lord would permit me, I'd be referring to those questions along with my lord the.
Just speed up.
My lord, please. Speed up, my lord. This is the last submission that I'm making, my lord. After that, there are few judgments on these points, my lord, and then I'll be concluding. Yesterday, my lord, I've taken my lords to the question with respect to when Bihar came into force, my lord. There was a dispute. We'll be taking the path of least resistance. Though the decision was of 1911, it was, my lord, perhaps.
It became effective in 2012.
2000. So if the nature of the question is such, my lord, there is an ambiguity and there is a possibility of two correct answers, my lord, in that even my most respectful submission will be that such evaluation of candidates on the basis of such questions should not be carried out. Of course, it is for my lords to see as to what was the degree of ambiguity, but according to us, my lord, the decision to shift, my lord, was taken in the year 1911.
You're right. I would have, with my limited knowledge of history, I would have marked it 1911.
So that was how we understood it, man. Those who have traveled to Calcutta, they would appreciate it even better because that was the year when it lost its the prospective glory that it could have had.
Right.
So 1911, according to us, is the answer, my lord. We are also relying on some of the sources that we have referred to, which are, my lord, standard NCRT texts. Therefore, my lord, I would most respectfully submit that we cannot actually be questioned at least on the sources that we are relying upon. Now, the next question, my lord, was 130. Page 377 may kindly be seen, my lord.
377.
377, my lord. Which was the chief economic foundation of the triangular commerce between India, China and England? The correct answer according to them, my lord, is option E, that is opium. Whereas, my lord, the answer should be option D. Now, in order to demonstrate that, my lord, we have relied on the textbook of class 11 standard, my lord, published by.
The question is Chief Economic Foundation.
Chief Economic Foundation of the triangular commerce between India, China and England. Now,
Commerce went on in silk, black pepper, but then the chief was
They say, my lord, the chief one was option B, my lord, that is opium. They had given up opium in the middle of it, my lord, and they have resorted to other things. That we have demonstrated, my lord, by way of this excerpt from NCRT textbook, my lord.
That's a debate. That's debatable. That is debatable.
Then in that even, my lord, the option, more than one of the above ought not to be there. The options may kindly be seen, my lord.
Option is B. B is the correct answer.
Which is the correct answer?
E.
That's right.
They say B. We say, my lord, it is not B, it is D.
Chief. We said chief.
My lord, chief has been explained.
Silk, opium, black pepper I don't know, but silk and opium definitely were there. But more than one of the above would not be a correct answer for the reason
It is chief.
they're asking for chief.
My lord, I'll just place whatever the text that is there, but there is a greater emphasis on silk than opium.
Greater emphasis on
Silk than opium. Because, my lord, it goes into the realm of doubt, but we would not go. But it is just to demonstrate, my lord.
there was nothing called silk war, but there was only opium.
That is why it became famous, my lord. But the chief foundation was Chinese silk, my lord.
I get happy when I get the correct answer in my mind. If it appeared, I would have.
If not for anything else, my lord, I'll just see.
CM, everybody knows.
My lord, I'll just place that.
Knows that, my lord,
I may be permitted to place the
Yeah,
text.
please do that.
Page 78. my lord.
everybody knows that Tata was in the trade of opium before it became Tata. And that opium was traded between India and China.
Yes, opium. Yes, 378.
My lord,
The
378.
answer is opium. There can be no two opinions. I mean, whichever text you've given, let's see.
Opium could lead to sea of copies being written. But my lord, opium was not the chief.
Why do you say so?
I'll just place that. The opium trade, 378, my lord, may types.
Now, if
The demand for Chinese goods.
Mr. Srivastava, you know that if answer has to be inferred from logic, from deductions,
My lord.
then the objection is not sustainable.
It is not, my lord.
You know
We would not be going that far.
देखिए जितने भी लोग वीडियो देख रहे हैं ना उनको बता देते हैं कि उधर से इशू है, हमारी तरफ से कोई इशू नहीं, हमारी आवाज़ आप तक पहुंच रही होगी। उधर से जो लिंक है, जो साइट है, उसका बफरिंग हो रहा है, तो वही बात है।
Means, my lord, he has been wrong. It is the responsibility of the state to ensure, my lord, that the person does not go home without fee. And it is to placate alone that, my lord, this entire scheme and the system had been devised.
No difficulty.
And therefore, my lord, my emphasis was on the on Art 14 and 16, my lord, and how they have been breached, my lord, in the most flagrant and blatant possible way in the conduct of the preliminary test examination. It is a case where, my lord, the state says that in those centers there were certain irregularities. Therefore, we are reconducting it. Reconducting it on the basis of a different set of questions. Now, under the same state, my lord, there are examinations where, my lord, on account of a large number of participants, for the same test, the examinations are conducted on different dates using different question papers, even if it is objective time. And upon conclusion of such an exercise, my lord, they have.
चलिए देखिए नेटवर्क जो है वो सही हो गया है, साउंड भी देखो तो भैया अब अलग सेटअप लगा दे रहे हैं और अब आप लोग सही रखिएगा.
Before the examination had taken place.
Normalization, my lord,
Where one of Mr. Giri's clients was beaten up before the main exam, before the preliminary examination, first time.
he was prospectively agreed, my lord. I will not comment on.
No, but what is this? Why normalization before everything?
I am unaware of that in hand.
That's what he said yesterday. We will ask them. नहीं तो उस समय कौन सी नॉर्मलाइजेशन की बात थी? क्या अनाउंस किया था? ये हम कोई इशू होगा नहीं भी तब भी हम नॉर्मलाइजेशन करेंगे। अरे भाई इशू क्या था? इशू क्या था?
इशू था कि नॉर्मलाइजेशन नहीं होना चाहिए।
चलिए, यस, we are not concerned with the injury to one of your clients presently. We are asking for something else. He is talking about the necessity of normalization after all this is done and second examination is held. Now, before the first examination, where was the issue of talking about, debating about?
And except P3 में findings है। P3 में findings है। What led to that, my lord? And except P3 at page 73. Page 73.
Yes,
दिनांक 13/12/24 शुक्रवार को आयोजित की जाने वाली एकीकृत 70वीं संयुक्त प्राथमिक प्रतियोगिता परीक्षा में नॉर्मलाइजेशन प्रक्रिया अपनाए जाने संबंधित भ्रामक खबरें विभिन्न सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म पर छाई जा रही। आयोग स्वयं हतप्रभ है कि नॉर्मलाइजेशन की प्रक्रिया अपनाए जाने संबंधी भ्रामक खबर कैसे एवं कहां से उत्पन्न हुई, जबकि नॉर्मलाइजेशन अपनाए जाने संबंधी कोई प्रस्ताव ही नहीं था। आयोग द्वारा परीक्षा में नॉर्मलाइजेशन प्रक्रिया अपनाए जाने संबंधी काल्पनिक अफवाह फैलाने का प्रयास कतिपय कोचिंग संचालकों एवं कथित छात्र नेताओं द्वारा अभ्यर्थियों को जानबूझकर दिग्भ्रमित करने के उद्देश्य से किया गया। तो दिस वाज my lord.
and what actually constitutes normalization?
Normalization
Only
is
when
my
two
lord.
examinations are having different sets of questions or
Then
whatever.
they normalize. Then a committee is constituted, my lord, and I do not know if it has any scientific basis.
But is it necessary? Normalization would be
Yes.
necessary even in case separate set of questions are asked.
Then they resort to it. In this manner, no, because there was just one set.
So why this issue cropped up, we don't know. And rightly the examination controller said that
It clarified that there won't be any normalization. Till then, my lord, it is on the 6th of December that the notice was issued. The press note came, my lord. Whereas the examination was conducted on the 13th, and as luck would have it, my lord, they were constrained to conduct a second examination because of the failure to conduct the first
who
one.
advises the students to ride on that high horse unnecessarily?
They do it, my lord. They are excited about things. Some of them are
They
overly
are not
logical.
excited. Coaching.
That is what it appears. That is what it appears. But it was not even in contemplation of the executing body.
They were clear, my lord, but that was failed subsequently. So there is not.
So it all started before the examination began. You may not agree with this, no say
My lord, if I may just say, I'm not casting any aspersion on any of these issues.
nor are we.
My past experience has been.
Any selection test, my lord, the selecting body has always to fight with my lord and a fight with those who are having some nefarious design. And this is not unique to BPSC. This is all over the country. Any selection test, the campaign starts much before the selection test is there.
We are surprised. They are on a totally different issue. He is not telling about you. No, we are. See, he says that you can hear. You were saying that after this second examination, the process of normalization should have been adopted.
What I'm submitting here, my lord, is that they have been consistently following it. When for the same test, on account of, my lord, a huge number of candidates participating, and one set not to, my lord, they conduct the examination on different dates. The same preliminary test, like case of, my lord,
No,
SC.
that's true, but you said something, no?
My lord, yes, there they have resorted to normalization, but in the present case, no such exercise was done.
You are raising this key of normalization, the fight against normalization, before the examination started.
We are not protesting against that. What I was trying to submit was something else, my lord. We are not concerned about that. What I was trying to show, my lord, was that the commission did not have any intention of conducting it on more than one day.
No, that's
This they have clarified.
This we have.
But when a situation arose and they justified it saying that since it is being conducted on one date, there is no question of normalization. But lo and behold, my lord, they conducted it on two different dates for different set of students. My lord, that level playing has to be done. This is all that I am submitting.
All right. Yes.
My lord, the sanctity and my lord, importance of Article 14 and 16 and these processes of selection, my lord. Another important question, my lord. The protests that begin even before the examination is rejected.
Judgment.
My lord, judgment is 2021 4 SEC 631, my lord.
No photocopies.
We had given the list yesterday, my lord.
You have been attending this court for about 2 months now.
Like before that also, my lord, in other courtroom, I had furnished those photocopies, my lord, but this time it just...
How can you forget this? This is putting the entire mechanism to trouble now.
I just be referring to those paragraphs, my lord, I'm furnishing those after marking them.
Actually, yes. Sachin Kumar. That's
Sachin
right.
Kumar and others versus that subordinate service selection board, my lord.
Yes.
If I may make this submission, neither do I have these standing,
Just
my
show the
lord.
paragraph to be done.
What I am submitting here, my lord, that this is one process of selection which has invariably been interfered with by the commissions. They have always shied away from taking
that is-
corrective, but every time it is judicial examination, my
This
lord.
is in continuation of their argument that the justice is not only the sole, doing justice is not only left to courts, it is everybody, the first responders.
My lord, not just that, my lords have been time and again, my lord, yesterday had observed that in a judicial recruitment examination, my lords, despite having conducted that on the administrative side, on the judicial side because there were defective questions. Now, my lord, this Sachin Kumar, it further, my lord, as it reinforces that proposition and the sanctity of these processes of selection, my lord. Paragraph number 35 at page 655.
Yes.
The position of a very interesting expression has been used there. In deciding batch of SLPs, we need not reinvent the wheel. It is a case like that only. It is a tried proposition of law. If there is a failure on your part, you only are going to face them. And my lord, there is no hardship involved. They just have to conduct the examination and that is what they do and that is what they have to do. Grace would have required them to raise their hands and say, all right, we will conduct another one. Over the last 5 decades, several decisions of this court have dealt with the fundamental issue of when the process of examination can stand vitiated. Essentially, the answer to the issue turns upon whether the irregularities in the process have taken place at a systemic level so as to vitiate the sanctity of the process. These are the cases which border upon or cross over into the domain of fraud as a result of which the credibility and legitimacy of the process is denuded. This constitutes one end of the spectrum where the authority conducting the examination or convening the selection process comes to the conclusion, even all circumstances, the process has lost its legitimacy, leaving no option but to cancel it in its entirety. Where a decision along those lines is taken, it does not turn upon a fact-finding exercise into individual acts involving the use of malpractices or unfair means, where a recourse...
That's right. Over and over again, the court is emphasizing on the systemic fraud and irregularities, not the...
It is not an individual having been wrong, man. We say that...
No, you don't turn it that way. The individual is wrong. That's not the
They are
intention.
not saying that, but we are also not saying it, man.
You don't convert it to your advantage.
That's not, man.
Now, this is with respect to holding of examination, holding an examination to be bad, vitiated by fraud, vitiated by irregularities,
Man.
where there could not be any segregation. They say that large-scale irregularities, including those which have the effect of denying equal access to similarly circumstanced candidates, are suggestive of a malay which has eroded the credibility of the process.
It is not a case of take at all, my lord, in the present case.
No,
It
that's
is
right.
systemic alone. It is not a case that they have been benefited or the question paper was leaked and these are the beneficiaries or these are the ones who are
They
given
repeat
certain
again.
advantage.
They repeat again later, where the recruitment to public employment stands vitiated as a consequence of systemic fraud.
My lord.
Systemic in general parlance is being understood as systematic. No,
No,
this is
systemic.
Systemic fraud or irregularities, the entire process becomes illegitimate.
Systemic is not a part of that system. The process, the procedure that there is a failure on their part. There is a clear-cut failure in the instant case, my lord, and then emphasis on Article 16, my lord. In the middle, my lord would find a fair and reasonable process of selection to post subject to the norm of equality of opportunity under Article 16(1) is a constitutional requirement. This, I believe, my lord, was trying yesterday, but the expressions that I was using perhaps were not as accurate, my lord. But this is all that I submit. There is a systemic failure on their part.
That's right, but this
Magnitude may kindly
this
be seen.
statement may not be directly read and imported
Not at all.
in a situation where a second examination has been held because of segregation.
It has been held because of segregation only, man.
Might have been.
That segregation is not.
There was a large scale complaint from one center.
But it is segregation, the basis of segregation is not tainted or untainted. The basis of segregation and reconduct, we won't call it man or segregation. Reconduct is because there is systemic failure.
Yes.
Then, my lord, then of course, this is not platitudinous exactly, my lord, but these are certain things that we need not repeat to ourselves. Now, my lord, para 64 at page 672. I'm very sorry, my lord, for emphasizing on these. 655, paragraph 35, right above that, my lord. The heading was capital F, the position in law. This position in law is what we are relying upon. This is the basis and this is the grundnorm for the present case for us. 672, my lord. Para 64. My lord, G, margin G, my lord, at the bottom, my lord, right?
Yes.
In the present case, we have seen, as we have seen, there was a basic denial of equal access to tier 1 examination. The nature of the allegations, which were found to be substantiated upon a careful examination by the first committee, showed that the credibility of the process itself has been eroded. In such a situation where a decision is taken by the government to cancel the entire process, it cannot be held to be.
This was against the decision of
My lord, the government to cancel. But the principle remains, my lord, that the sanctity has been eroded.
Yeah.
And my lord, it is not those who were beaten up before they conducted the examination who were responsible for leaking out the question paper. The commission could not keep its house in order. It was their invigilators, it was the members of state services, etc., my lord, who were entrusted with that duty. There was a complete failure on their part. For a state like Bihar, my lord, which boasts about its population exceeding 10 crores now, cannot hold an examination for 4 lakh. If that be so, my lord, then I will not go very far. This is my state, or there is a failure somewhere. And that must be cured before it is too late. There has not been a single examination, my lord, where the courts have not interfered or the model answers were not changed right since that 48 to 52nd. I'm making this submission, my lord, on record. There are judgments in which this honorable court has cautioned them. I'll be getting those judgments if need be, my lord, that this is not how public service the examinations are.
After Sachin, which case?
My lord, this is 2015-6 SEC 573.
Name of the case?
Tanvi Sarwar.
Tanvi Sarwar, where again the examination was cancelled.
Paragraph number 18, my lord. I just give it to you. 594. Para 18, my lord.
Yes.
As has been noticed herein above, the disclosures in the investigation suggest that the benefit of answer key has been availed by several candidates taking the examination by illegal means. Though as on date 44 such candidates have been identified having regard to the modus operandi put in place, the number of cell phones and other devices used, it is not unlikely that many more candidates have availed such a new advantage, being a part of the overall design, and in the process have been unduly benefited for the other students who who had made sincere and genuine endeavors to solve the answer paper on the basis of their devoted preparation and hard labor. In view of the widespread network that has operated as the status reports disclose and the admission of the persons arrested, including some beneficiary candidates, we are of the opinion, in view of the strong possibilities of identification of other candidates as well involved in such malpractices, that the examination has become a suspect. I have not made these submissions on facts, my lord, but the learned counsel who had assisted my lords on these points before me had brought to the notice of this honorable court, my lord, not the PIL, my lord. I'm absolutely categorical about, my lord, not about adopting anything that has been spoken in that PIL.
Judgments are the same. Fortunately.
But my lord, I must convey my reservations over a few points.
Yes.
What
Yes, you have made it.
I'll see that, my lord. Paragraph number.
We have noted this paragraph. This is.
There are two more paragraphs, my lord.
Yes.
Para 20 and para 20. These are the consequences of, my lord, doubt being there. It cannot be brushed aside, my lord. Para 20. 23, my lord, I'll be placing, my lord. It is again, my lord, on the facts of it. We are aware that the abrogation of the examination. This is the angst, my lord, sometimes the concern and the reason behind not interfering in such matters, my lord. But what the Honorable Apex Court has to say is, we are aware that the abrogation of the examination would result in some inconvenience to all concerned, and that extra time would be consumed for holding a fresh examination with renewed efforts therefore. This, however, according to us, is the price the stakeholders would have to suffer in order to maintain the impeccable and irrefutable sanctity and credibility of a process of examination to assess innate worth and capability of participating candidates for being assigned inter se merit conditions commensurate to their performance based on genuine and sincere endeavors. It is a collective challenge that all the role players would have to meet by rising to the occasion and fulfill the task ahead at the earliest, so as to thwart and abort the deplorable design of a mindless few seeking to hijack the process for selfish gain along the unscrupulous beneficiaries thereof. Though the board has taken a plea that having regard to the enormity of the exercise to be undertaken, the same cannot be done before 4 months, we would emphasize that this is an occasion where the board ought to gear up in full all its resources in the right spirit, in coordination with all other institutions that may be involved, so as to act in tandem and hold the examination afresh at the earliest. Abhishek, my lord, if it could come through, this could be the penultimate paragraph of the judge that may be passed to this court. This sums it up, my lord. This is the situation that we are faced with. They are not saying that this does not happen or that did not happen. They say they have declared.
All right. Next.
There is an old judgment celebrated on my lord. Union of India versus.
Union of India versus?
Union of India versus Old Chakradhar.
Oh,
Chakradhar. 2002 3 SEC page 46, my lord. Para 8 I have been relying on. Para 8 at page 151. In our view, para 8 man.
Yes.
In our view, the nature and the extent of illegalities and irregularities committed in conducting a selection will have to be scrutinized in each case so as to come to a conclusion about future course of action to be adopted in the matter. If the mischief played is so widespread and all-pervasive, affecting the results so as to make it difficult to pick out the persons who have been unlawfully benefited and wrongfully deprived of their selection, in such cases it will neither be possible nor necessary to issue individual so-called notices to be selected. The only way out would be to cancel the whole selection. Motive behind the irregularities also has its. We are still, my lord, at a preliminary stage.
Now, if
The demand for Chinese goods.
Mr. Srivastava, you know that if answer has to be inferred from logic, from deductions, then the objection is not sustainable.
It is not, my lord.
You know
We would not be going that far for no valid. This is the state, Lord. This is my most respectful son. And as regards, my lord, where there is doubt, And as regards, my lord, when there is a doubt with respect to the correctness of the question paper, the course as is required to be adopted, my lord, is decided in a case that has gone, of course, from our own state, my lord. 2013 4 SEC, page 690, Rajesh Kumar and others versus State of Bihar. Para 21, my lord, is available. Page 6, my lord.
Yes.
There is considerable merit in the submission of Mr. Rao. It goes without saying that the appellants were innocent parties, not in any manner contributed to the preparation of the erroneous key or the distorted result. There is no mention of any fraud or malpractice against the appellants who have served the state for nearly 7 years. In the circumstances, while the inter se merit position may be relevant for the appellant, the outcome of the latter need be an inevitable and inexorable consequence of such a revaluation. No, it is not that. I'm sorry, madam. I'm sorry, madam. It is not. I'm sorry, madam.
Para 15. So you are reading para 15 only, no?
Madam, there in our and in the meantime, I will this one.
Read that first item, you will find it. I mean, though it refers to para 15 only, but para 15 is comes to another
My lord,
way
yes,
talks
that
about-
expression is
but
not.
the necessary law position has been explained. The model key answer which is used for evaluating the first one.
Madam, in case of erroneous evaluation where examinees are not at fault at all held.
No. If the model answer key which was used for evaluating the answer sheets was itself different, the result prepared on the basis of same could be no different.
My lord, this is para 15.
But para
Para
15 is
15 is not
different.
fine measure.
No,
It must
it-
be some other.
The division bench of the High Court was therefore perfectly justified in holding that the result of examination insofar as the same particular A series was vitiated. This was bound to affect the result of the entire examination by every candidate, whether or not he was a party to this. That's right. We don't find it in para 15, this entire
This
passage.
expression is not. Anyhow, my lord,
You rely on this.
My lord, now we are in the habit of control F. That is why it's become very difficult. (2018) 8 SEC 81. Page 81, my lord. 2018 8 SEC page 81. Para 15 and 16, my lord. Page 80.
Para 15.
My lord. At page 87, ma'am. The issue pertaining to judicial review of correctness of key answer has been considered by this court time and again. This court entertains such challenges on very limited ground and are always given due weight to the opinions of subject experts. A three-judge bench of this court in Kanpur University versus Samir Gupta had occasion to consider a case where challenge was made to the key answers supplied by the paper setter with regard to multiple choice of the objective type test for admission and medical courses through combined medical tests. The High Court, while considering the challenge of the candidates to various
That's right. That of,
and para 16, my lord,
including the one from Bihar, which paragraph 15, which is
My
different
lord.
from the cluster. And then lastly, para 19. Please read it out.
the key answers prepared by the paper setter or the examining body is presumed to have been prepared after due deliberations. To err is human. There are various factors which may lead to framing of the incorrect key answers. The publication of key answers to achieve fairness and perfection in the process. The objections to the key answers are to be examined by the experts and thereafter corrective measures should be taken by the examining body. In the present case, we have noted that after considering the objections, key answers were published by the Commission. Thereafter, several writ petitions were filed challenging the correctness of the key answers adopted by the Commission. The High Court repelled the challenge, accepting the view that experts, the candidates still unsatisfied, have come up in this court by filing these appeals. This court, while hearing these appeals, found substance in some of the submissions raised by us. An appellant satisfied this court that certain answers need re-examination by experts. Court issued directions on so. My lord, the expression stone to be left unturned must be having some value, my lord, in existence.
Added to it would be that within a time frame, it should not disturb the academic schedule.
My lord, it cannot be.
Let's see.
It was the first instance, my lord, examination.
You also want to cite Vijay Singh.
Vijay Singh, my lord, we could not. My lord, para 15, it's there, my lord, in the middle somewhere. Para 15, Rajesh Kumar and the state versus state of Yarn. 2013 for SEC, my lord. It will be page 696.
Para 15.
Para 15, my lord, in the middle. E. On the right hand margin, my lord, you find E. The High Court has actually.
What we did in the class.
My lord, yes,
And Vijay, it has been summarized.
Yes, my lord.
Where it is, you have brought
2018 only, my lord. We could not get it here, my lord. I be for
Vijay, they say 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
This has been.
No, no.
That is also 2018 only.
I do not remember the year.
Okay. So,
Cancel the defective, which requires a rechange. We will put it to the BPSC. We'll
and
see.
my lord, there is no question of any inconvenience. That is their job.
No. That inconvenience to, I mean, at what level? Inconvenience to students who believe, I mean, their statement should be taken note of.
The inconvenience that leading, my lord, the commission, that it will get you.
That we'll see.
That does not hold any.
Let's see.
Problem.
Yes, Mr. YouTuber. तो फिर इनको कब शुरू करेंगे? अब आज के बाद तो हम सुनेंगे.
I have still my opinion in hearing this.
No, Mr. Shahid,
My lordship, this should not be allowed to be converted into.
No, it will not be. We just want to hear in 2 minutes. Yes. Not more than 2 minutes, don't repeat.
My lordship, I base my argument on the doctrine of legitimate expectation.
Doctrine of legitimate expectation. All right.
Point number 2, I will base my argument. Apart from the violation of Article 14 and 16, there is violation of Article 21.
You don't have a legitimate expectation of anything. Legitimate expectation, your being given the opportunity of testing your intelligence, of being selected, of, I mean,
And also
in examinations, in recruitment process, there is no
My lordship,
legitimate
last point, there is systemic failure which I will prove through the judgment. Leakage of the paper. It reached to the conclusion on the basis of the data analysis, and this data are done by the IIT.
We have observed it in the earlier part of the discussions.
So same point. Just
Mr. What is your name?
Prakesh Prasan, sir. Prakesh.
Prakesh.
Yeah.
Now, I forewarned you earlier also. This is not the process of the court. Your petition is only in the pipeline. There is an objection to you being heard. But otherwise, we are of the view, cutting across all these technical formalities, that we will hear you. But if you repeat,
I'm not repeating the.
we have read, for your satisfaction, we have read Vanshika, we have read Tanvi,
Yeah.
we have read all other cases that you
I'm
cited.
just saying, sir. I'm just saying. Just give me 2 minutes, sir. I'm just saying.
2 minutes, right by watch. We can extend it by 1 more minute, yes.
So that particular judgment, the Supreme Court has the right of comparison of data of each particular center. That the success rate of 22 centers in aggregate that may spike to 25%. Because my lordship, this is not a one-off event. Because in what is study you have told in Delhi, because we have option to choose the centers. That's why in Delhi the success rate is higher. Also, this is not a one-off event. In Delhi, always the success rate is remain higher. But in this particular case, this success rate is a one-off event. This is not a mere chance. This is not a mere coincidence. Rather, this is a systemic failure which I will prove, my lordship.
Yes.
2 minutes more.
Yes.
My lordship, in this particular case, what happened? This result have been prepared to two different exams have been taken, and this result have been merging the raw marks. This is where this entire problem has arisen. The raw marks of the two examination. The combined merit list have been prepared on the basis of raw marks obtained by the candidates. Whenever examination takes place on two different sections, it is practice, then there has to be some methodology adopted. I would like to place my on the very separate judgment of a constitutional bench, Sanjay Singh versus BPSC, in which the only methodology was flawed, the entire result was cancelled. Only the formula was flawed. What I'm trying to say, my lordship, particular case, in this particular, so what happened? The two results, the two marks have been combined, and what happened? That the 90 marks have cut off have been same for general. But point here is that, my lordship, 90 marks for section 2, on 4th of 90 marks on section 1, that is on 13th December. These are not same. But on private side, it may appear this is numerically this is same, but this is not my lordship. This is what I am going to prove, my lordship. My lordship.
Yes.
My lordship, on 13th December in Patna itself, there are more than 60 centers. None of the centers.
Mr. Pragesh, this
NTA publishes result on the basis of this normalization methodology and based on this research, on basis of this research paper. On the basis of that, they publish the result. This research paper says that when the examination held on multiple sections, on the second page, my lordship, on the second set of insights, it is written that when the examination is held on multiple sets, then there has to be some methodology adopted. They have they have laid on this.
You raised
what trying to say, my lordship, here 4 January session, there was absolute number 1165 candidates were selected.
Such a big issue. The question is that the answers are wrong. The framing question is wrong. You are asking for this kind of exercise for normalization.
No, sir, I'm not asking. We cannot it's a combined merit list from the two different sets of students which were from two different level of paper.
No.
What I'm trying to say,
you cannot postulate like this. You can only say that it is always better if two sets of examinations are taken on two different dates with different questions. Therefore, normalization should be done.
My apologies, my lordship. But trying to say, in absolute number, my lordship, 1165 candidates have been selected from the 4th January session. What in terms of, even if we take the highest ratio of the 13th December session, like the main examination. In that perspective, I would like to say put an example in 2014. UPC examination, the rank one Gira Singhal has secured rank one but see what only 2 marks are of the cutoff. That's why there are many genuine students, more than 600, 700 from 13 December batch, they have been denied their rightful admission because of this faulty cookies of my lord. This is what, and this systemic failure completely brought up by the BPSC itself. This I will prove, my lordship, if you allow.
All right. All right. You don't need to prove. We can't.
That Babu Pariksha Parishad Center, my lordship. This is what they have deliberately did it. This is what deliberate attempt by the commission to create a chaos at that particular center. This is, I know my lordship, this is a very serious allegation, but I will defend it, my lordship.
They don't take notice of it. Anyway, that's over the process. We'll get to. Apart from this, this is good that you have pointed out. Yes.
One point, my lordship. In Babu Pariksha Parishad Center, the seating arrangement was made in the multi 73. And SUP it is very categorically pointed out there's in any room there cannot be a student without 12 multiple of 12. But any sitting arrangement should have been multiple of 12 because there's a logic behind that. Any TES background.
The other persons who argued, they have talked about violation of SOP.
But my point here is that, my lordship, why this precautionary in that particular report, it was never mentioned that there are 273 students sitting in that particular. That's why this is they completely put the onus on the students. They have conspired it. They have made it. But rather, this is a conspiracy. BPSC itself.
Privately, we do not accept this argument. You may suggest this, but we are not accepting this argument. We have accepted what you have said, what made sense to us. Right? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Are you what? Thank you. Yes, Mr. Chair. You first have your say and then answer our questions. Come here. The mic here is better. If you find yourself continuing.
I aptly summarize, my lord, their argument to say that it much ado about nothing.
Mister, why are you opening the question to the extent of saying that you have created the chaos?
My
And
lordship,
when you create the chaos, it becomes
when litigation is sponsored, these kind of narratives will emerge.
all right. Yes. Start.
So for first case,
PPIL.
PIL. My lordship, I'll straightway refer to a division bench. Litigation wala. तुम्हारे साथ भी प्रॉब्लम है भाषण देना
आपने तो फोटोकॉपी रखा है ना दो
हाँ
आपने फोटोकॉपी रखा है ना दो
हाँ
नहीं इसमें and I never sooner. Please just jot down the question on which you have objections, which has not been and give it to us by today, by evening. And any sequence that you want to say, any just. And Mr. Giri, that's true for you also. जो क्वेश्चन की गड़बड़ी है तो मैं लिस्ट करके देता हूँ। लिख करें तो कागज पर देना आपने किया है क्या किया है पास को भी करना है ना by evening tomorrow
सीट पर एक अलग से
any one of your contentions. Sure. 5 pages. Questions and otherwise 1 or 2 pages on your just summary of your argument. Not necessarily detailed arguments. Keep it.
ये मैं
Bit limited to 5 pages, 7 pages.
हम आपको रिलाई कर रहे हैं आप
Outer limit 10.
I give that judgment, my lordship. Little
And that was very important. We wanted to hear it. Because we permitted the person to argue. Read it if you want.
1 minute, my lord. He has jumbled up.
Oh. Is it the same process of jumping the questions?
My lordship.
BPSC having some problems.
If my friend is appearing for commission, it's a different matter. You can appear for commission and appear for the government or appear for both. I don't think state
I believe government has no role. Start when BPSC makes recommendation. I believe my friend is aware of these principles.
I'm on different one. My friend can argue for everybody. In this case, my friend is arguing for the commission or for the government. That is the.
No, he is
The
okay.
government has ordinance duty to see that public service commission functions well. Government is not a part of the public service commission. Not the public service commission. We are seeing a separate constitutional body. Government is sovereign power. Now, if an opposite argument is advanced, your minority will consider that aspect. What? क्या तो रोड कंडीशन के बाद आता है गवर्नमेंट
हमने हम बैठ के
गवर्नमेंट की
निकालेंगे।
फंक्शनरी नहीं है गवर्नमेंट objection इनकी objection भी हमने turn down की if I have to hear that person or you the thing is that we should come out with truth and with correct decision अब ये सब objection आप करिएगा he appears as a
नहीं किया है शुरू में कहा कि तरफ से ये हो
इंटरफेस है अब इसको कहाँ
स्टेटस दोनों का नहीं
अभी सरकार आ नहीं रही है सरकार डिसीजन नहीं ली है वो हम डायरेक्शन देंगे सरकार को टेक अ डिसीजन तो बात दूसरी है तब ये डिपेंड करेंगे ना
The examination selection test at Bapu Sabhagar cancelled, and during course of selection test, question paper was taken out.
This was 13th of December.
13th of December. Question paper taken out, as a result of which the question paper got circulated. List which started. The citation was also directed with that assertion. The question paper got leaked and it got circulated to various centers. And therefore, purity of the selection test has been compromised and a fresh selection test is required to be held. This is the crux, my lordships, of
This is the argument.
This is argument, in fact. Later on, they have expanded to include that certain questions are wrong. So the argument has two facets. One, whether question paper leaked. Having a selection test confined to one center where the selection process got disrupted would suffice. And the second limb is regarding my lordship's wrong question or wrong model answers. So it is in two compartments. I will be answering one by one my questions. Now, certain figures should be relevant. ये उसका दियो तुम
Yeah.
there were admit cards were issued, my lord, to 4,80,359 applicants.
4 lakhs.
Admit card was put on 4,48,470 only downloaded it.
Yes.
Total applicants who appeared are 3,23,023 लिखे होते ये भी गलत है. This was, my lord, on 13/12. In Bapu Sabhagar, there were 912 centers across 36 districts of the state of Bihar.
Total centers across
912.
Yes.
Including Bapu Sabhagar. If Bapu Sabhagar is taken, so 911 centers examination selection test was conducted peacefully on 13/12. So far Bapu Sabhagar is concerned, in Bapu Sabhagar, total number of appearing candidates नहीं 4 candidates दिन. Total number of appearing candidates.
Where is this? Bapu Sabhagar Gandhi Madana or Gargani Madana?
No. Bapu Sabhagar Kankarba. Kumra. It's a big main road. It has capacity of 5,000 applicant candidates. तेरा तारीख को इतने लोग बैठे. लोग थे कैंडिडेट।
Yes. How many candidates were there in Bapu Sabhagar?
12,012 sitting arrangement was made for 12,012. The candidates who appeared was 5,900 and odd. When the examination commenced at 12,
Timing of examination was 12 to 1:30.
yes,
12 to 1:30 or 2?
2. Those who would have come after 11, even 11.1, they would not be allowed entry. So positively, every applicant has to appear at the center latest by 11. 1 hour is provided because, my lord, every candidate, not only candidate, every person who is in the center is required to be frisked for any electronic gadget. Whether it is invigilator, whether it is staff, no person capable of transmitting or receiving any message. And this has been scrupulously observed. There has been absolutely, nor there is absolutely any evidence to demonstrate that any candidate or any person got entry or sneaked with any electronic device.
Yes.
Were installed across all centers with the assistance of Electronic Corporation of India. Total number of members would exceed 13,000 approximately. And this was provided by Electronic Corporation, ECI, Electronic Corporation of India. Every step was taken to ensure that nothing comes in, nothing goes out. Bapu Sabhagar selection test commenced as scheduled at 12. Large number of applicants were writing their examination. At around saying that there has been delay in distribution of question booklet, the authorities handling the process, my lordships, keeping the sensitivity, and in order to ensure that the selection test passes smoothly, even assured those handful of applicants creating ruckus that they would be allowed extra time if there has been delay in providing question booklet. Notwithstanding that, some more pretexts or some more, my lordships, allegations were cooked up. In in a selection test of this nature, the number of applicants, my lordships, gradually increased and it became a sizable number.
This was out of 5,000 students writing the exam.
Yes, writing the examination. Majority were writing. It was only a minority of the applicants who, my lord, designedly wanted to disrupt the selection test. Their only object was to disrupt it on one or the other text. In this process, one government employee suffered injury. He was not being allowed to taken out to the hospital. He taking away the booklets. They came out of the exam center. District Senior Superintendent of Police, my lord, rushed to the spot to contain any untoward happening, and thus the exam at Bapu Center got disrupted because those applicants who were also writing their exam peacefully, they were prevented, their question booklets were snatched. So it was a sinister design hatched up from before. Some booklets were taken out. It is those booklets which are reportedly being urged to persuade my lords to be convinced that they spread across all other centers. However, there is absolutely no material that the question papers BPSC has taken all precautionary steps, including ascertaining.
How come, I mean, we are absolutely in agreement with what you say. Every arrangement, but how these batchman people, they could come out of the hall with their booklets, they should have stopped.
My lordships, it was a difficult situation because if the number in fact, my lordship, district administration reached there and I mean the visual is there, applicants fighting, using cutoff, snatching.
And the ruckus took place inside.
It started inside the hall and later it spread. The same applicants entered other halls. There are different halls.
But inside the campus.
Outside, their friends were waiting. There are a large number of people who were waiting. And we presumably, and our presumption is not misplaced, that people sponsored by various coaching institutions anywhere.
You have the authority to regulate, not the recruiting agency, but the state.
My lordship's state.
Let me not. We will be asking questions. You continue with your scheme.
Now, my lordships, the examination, Bapu Sabha examination center got disrupted, and they took away some of the OMR did not reach any other center by any mode. It could not have reached physically for 2 p.m. It did not reach through any electronic mode. In fact, the OMR sheets were thrown out. The question booklet were thrown out. From 105, question reaching other centers, it is impossible from the fact that BPSC has taken all precautions to avoid any infiltration. And it was foolproof arrangement. Nobody can claim, not a single applicant, nobody can claim, not any evidence that any applicant or any person it could not have been possible unless it was physically inside the center. In none of the repetitions, my lord, there is any material to show that the question paper leaked in the sense that it traveled to other centers. Later on, my lordships, by sending some message on Twitter, Instagram, etc., news arises, it is but natural that taking advantage of the situation, many groups, including political groups, which they joined in this my lordship's episode, and then they started fabricating a story that question paper leak, jammer did not. Let me assume jammer did not work. Where is the evidence that he was having a mobile phone or any gadget having a SIM card which could have transmitted or received it? She took a firm stand that we will not cancel the selection test on any other center unless there is material to justify or material to demonstrate and prove that the purity of selection test has been compromised. Reports were called from every center. BPSC scrutinized it. BPSC complaints or, my lord, these messages, and BPSC took a conscious decision. The entire full commission, my lord, took a conscious decision that this is not a case which will require or which will possibly be taken as a ploy to cancel the entire selection test, and it would suffice to hold a re-selection test at Bapu Sabhagat. Submitted a report to the commission regarding the activities at Bapu examination.
Next it in your contract.
Yes, yes.
Pappu Kumar.
Yes.
All right.
You'll just give the reference.
Later.
BPSC therefore took conscious decision that it is in public interest, in the interest of my lord aspiring candidates, that entire selection is not cancelled and it will only be reheld. Fixed on 4th of January 2025. On 4th of January, my lordships, the total number of applicants who appeared, 5943.
That is more than the candidates who sat.
Less than.
No, 5,900 and odd you said earlier. And this time it was 5943.
5943. 5943.
5,009. And the first time it was 5,000.
Seat plan was for 12,012 candidates.
The entire examination all over state, apart from these measures, has been videographed. If the court feels persuaded in any manner, even though there is no material, we can produce videographed selection test any moment. Bapu Sabhagar also having similar video facility. And it is in this context, my lords my friends have taken to the report of district magistrate. My ships are tempted to refer it again. Kindly come to the report of the district magistrate. On these grounds, the selection test is tinkered. I'm apprehensive that no selection body would be able to conduct any selection test. Disruptors are always there, my lordships. Howsoever stringent measures may be taken. Section C, page 52 of the counter available.
Yes.
This is the covering letter. Next page, my lord, is detailed exhaustive report. I'll take little time, my lord, in placing this report because this is the foundation for the commission to take a decision apart from other materials. परीक्षा की तिथि को सभी प्रतिनियुक्त दंडाधिकारी, पुलिस अधिकारी एवं पुलिस बल ससमय अपने कर्तव्य पर उपस्थित थे। सभी परीक्षार्थियों को भी ससमय शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से प्रवेश करा दिया गया। परीक्षा केंद्र पर प्रश्न पत्र भी ससमय करीब 10:55 बजे पूर्वाह्न में जोनल प्रश्न पत्र एवं OMR सीट का सील्ड पैकेट उपलब्ध कराया जाने लगा। प्रश्न पत्र वितरण में 10-15 मिनट होने पर कुछ परीक्षार्थी केंद्राधीक्षक एवं वीक्षकों के यह समझने के बावजूद कि विलंब के लिए अतिरिक्त समय दिया जाएगा, हंगामा कर परीक्षार्थियों की आपत्ति इस बिंदु पर थी कि उनके कमरे में सील्ड बॉक्स को क्यों नहीं खोला गया। शोरगुल सुनकर अन्य कई कमरों के छात्र भी बाहर निकल आए और बुकलेट एवं उपस्थिति पत्रक छीनकर फाड़ने लगे। उनके द्वारा यह अफवाह भी फैलाई जा रही थी कि परीक्षा रद्द हो गई है, जिस कारण कुछ अन्य परीक्षार्थी भी बाहर आ गए और बुकलेट एवं OMR शीट लेकर परीक्षा केंद्र के बाहर परिसर में एकत्रित हो गए। उन्हीं में से एक परीक्षार्थी ने ट्रक से प्रश्न पत्र का पैकेट लूट लिया और हाथ में लहराते मुंह के साथ तोड़कर बाहर निकल गए। परीक्षार्थियों ने कई कमरों में जाकर उपस्थित पत्रक आदि प्रपत्रों को क्षतिग्रस्त कर दिया। इसके बावजूद उपस्थित दंडाधिकारी एवं पुलिस बल द्वारा स्थिति को नियंत्रित करते हुए शेष परीक्षा को संपन्न कराया गया। सूचना प्राप्त होते ही जिला पदाधिकारी एवं वरीय पुलिस अधीक्षक पटना भी केंद्र पर पहुंचे और स्थिति को नियंत्रित किया, अन्यथा भारी तोड़फोड़ एवं आगे परीक्षा नहीं होने दिया जाता। नियंत्रित परिस्थिति में कुल 5,671 परीक्षार्थी परीक्षा को पूरा किया। परीक्षा प्रारंभ होने में विलंब निम्न कारणों से हुआ। चूंकि परीक्षा भूतल के साथ साथ सभी 5 तलों पर आयोजित की गई थी, जिसमें हजारों की संख्या में परीक्षार्थी भाग ले रहे थे। विधिवत तरीके से प्रश्न पत्र का सील बॉक्स खोलने के पश्चात क्रमवार तरीके से अभ्यर्थियों को प्रश्न पत्र उपलब्ध कराया जाने लगा। प्रत्येक हॉल में 273 अभ्यर्थियों के बैठने की व्यवस्था की और प्रत्येक स्टील बॉक्स में 192 प्रश्न पत्र थे, जिसे 16 सील्ड TES बैग टेम्पर एविडेंस सिक्योरिटी बैग में रखा गया। प्रत्येक TES बैग में 12 प्रश्न पत्र थे, अतः एक अभ्यर्थियों को बांटा जा सके। TES बैग को एक हॉल से दूसरे हॉल में ले जाने तथा क्रमबद्ध रूप से प्रश्न पत्र वितरित करते हुए ऊपर तक पहुंचने में विलंब हुआ। परीक्षार्थियों द्वारा उनके ही कमरे में सील्ड बॉक्स नहीं खोले जाने पर आपत्ति की जाने लगी तथा प्रश्न पत्र वितरण को बाधित किया गया। यद्यपि केंद्राधीक्षक द्वारा परीक्षार्थियों को यह समझाने का प्रयास किया गया कि सील्ड बॉक्स किसी एक परीक्षा में ही नियम अनुसार खोला गया है और विलंब के लिए उन्हें अतिरिक्त समय उपलब्ध कराया जाएगा, किंतु परीक्षार्थी हंगामा करने पर आतुर। संपूर्णतया ऐसा होता है कि देर से प्रश्न पत्र बुकलेट वितरण का बहाना बनाते हुए कुछ परीक्षार्थियों का समाप्ति के पूर्व परीक्षा केंद्र से बाहर बुकलेट प्रश्न पत्र एवं OMR शीट आदि नहीं लेकर जाना था, लेकिन कुछ परीक्षार्थियों ने ऐसा कृत्य करते हुए परीक्षा की प्रक्रिया को भंग करने का प्रयास किया। अभ्यर्थियों के द्वारा परीक्षा कक्ष में हंगामे के दौरान एक वीक्षक श्री राम इकबाल सिंह को दिल का दौरा पड़ा, जिसे तुरंत अस्पताल ले जाने की व्यवस्था की गई, लेकिन परीक्षा परिसर के बाहर मुख्य सड़क पर ओल्ड बाईपास को अवांछित तत्वों के द्वारा जाम करने के कारण उन्हें अस्पताल पहुंचाने में विलंब हुआ। सूचना अनुसार उप शिक्षक की मृत्यु भी हो गई। ऐसा प्रतीत हो रहा है कि परीक्षा के रूप में कुछ असामाजिक तत्व परीक्षा में सम्मिलित थे एवं उनका एक ग्रुप परीक्षा में बाहर भी मौजूद था, जो कि बाहर से हंगामा करने पर आतुर। कुछ अभ्यर्थियों ने करने पर आतुर थे ताकि किसी तरह परीक्षा निरस्त हो। अतः जिम्मेदार परीक्षार्थियों एवं उपद्रवी के विरुद्ध सख्त अनुशासनिक एवं कानूनी कार्रवाई करने के साथ साथ हत्या का मुकदमा भी दर्ज करने की अनुशंसा की जाती है। इस प्रकरण में कुछ कोचिंग संस्थानों की भूमिका की भी जांच की आवश्यकता है। Then my lordship is concluded. Now, my lord will kindly come to the decision of the Public Service Commission, which is on page 58. This has not been shown to my lords up till now. None of the petitioners have, my lord, shown this document. को आयोजित एकीकृत 70वीं संयुक्त प्रारंभिक प्रतियोगिता परीक्षा के अंतर्गत पटना जिला में अवस्थित परीक्षा इतना बापू परीक्षा परिसर मौर्य विहार कॉलोनी कुमरार में आयोजित हुई परीक्षा के सब आयोग को प्राप्त प्रतिवेदन के आलोक में आयोग के निर्णय के संबंध में उपर्युक्त एतद विषय के संबंध में आयोग को अवगत कराया गया कि आयोग द्वारा एकीकृत 70वीं संयुक्त प्रारंभिक प्रतियोगिता परीक्षा दिनांक 13/24 को राज्य के 36 जिलों में अवस्थित 912 परीक्षा केंद्रों पर आयोजित की। इसके अंतर्गत पटना जिला के एक परीक्षा केंद्र संख्या इतना बापू परीक्षा परिषद मौर्य विहार कॉलोनी कुमरार पटना पर कुछ परीक्षार्थियों द्वारा प्रश्न पत्र की वितरण से पहले से खुली होने और वितरण के बाद विलंब से प्रारंभ होने की बात करकर और क्रम की स्थिति उत्पन्न की गई और परीक्षा बाधित की गई। जिलाधिकारी द्वारा 15/12/24 को विस्तृत प्रतिवेदन समर्पित किया गया। उक्त समर्पित प्रतिवेदन में प्रश्न पत्र वितरण में 10 से 15 मिनट विलंब होने की बात बताई गई। केंद्राधीक्षक एवं शिक्षकों द्वारा धैर्य पूर्वक बार परीक्षा में भाग लेने अनुरोध किए जाने एवं विलंब के लिए अतिरिक्त समय दिए जाने की बात कहने के बावजूद भी कुछ परीक्षार्थी द्वारा प्रश्न पत्र के टीएस बैग पूर्व से ही फटे होने की बात कहकर प्रश्न पत्र होने संबंधी अफवाह फैलाए जाने के कारण अन्य अभ्यर्थियों द्वारा भी परीक्षा में भाग लेने न करने बुकलेट एवं उपस्थिति पत्रक फाड़ने की बात कही गई। जिलाधिकारी के प्रतिवेदन में परीक्षा प्रारंभ होने में विलंब के लिए निम्न कारणों का उल्लेख किया गया। परीक्षा भूतल के साथ साथ सभी 5 स्थानों पर आयोजित की गई थी। प्रत्येक हॉल में इतने अभ्यर्थियों के बैठने की व्यवस्था थी। प्रत्येक स्टील बॉक्स में 192 प्रश्न पत्र थे, जिसके कारण तक पहुंचने में विलंब। परीक्षार्थियों द्वारा उनके ही कमरे में सील बॉक्स नहीं खोले जाने पर आपत्ति की जाने लगी। प्रश्न पत्र वितरण को भी बाधित किया गया। आयोग द्वारा परीक्षा बाधित होने के फैक्ट फाइंडिंग के लिए आयोग स्तर पर भी समीक्षा की गई। समीक्षा में जिलाधिकारी पटना द्वारा आयोग को सौंपे रिपोर्ट एवं बापू परीक्षा पर में लगे सीसीटीवी का वीडियो क्लिप को देखने से स्पष्ट हो रहा है कि उक्त परीक्षा के प्रारंभ में कतिपय अभ्यर्थियों द्वारा परीक्षा को बाधित किया गया एवं अन्य अभ्यर्थियों को भी परीक्षा देने से रोका गया। इसके बावजूद बहुतायत संख्या में अभ्यर्थियों द्वारा सफलतापूर्वक परीक्षा संपन्न कर OMR आंसर शीट को समर्पित किया गया। पूर्ण पीठ को अवगत कराया गया कि वर्तमान मामला 27/12/2020 को आयोजित 66वीं प्रारंभिक प्रतियोगिता परीक्षा के और प्रतिवेदन समर्पित किया था कि परीक्षा केंद्र 660 पर सील खुला होने तथा परीक्षा 12:30 बजे अपराह्न प्रारंभ होने की शिकायत करते हुए कुछ परीक्षार्थियों वहां फैलाकर परीक्षा को बाधित किया, जिसके कारण अन्य परीक्षार्थी परीक्षा में नहीं दे सके। उस वक्त आयोग ने 2 वरीय उप सचिव की फैक्ट फाइंडिंग समिति का गठन किया गया, जिसने स्थलीय जांच कर अपना प्रतिवेदन इसकी विस्तृत जानकारी आयोग को आयोजित पूर्ण पीठ की बैठक की कार्रवाई में दी गई। इससे स्पष्ट होता है कि कथित रूप से सामग्री बांटने में विलंब, सील खुलने रहने की अफवाह फैलाकर कुछ उपद्रवी छात्रों द्वारा शोर मचाकर परीक्षा को बाधित किया गया और अन्य छात्रों को परीक्षा देने से रोका गया। उपर्युक्त वर्णित तथ्यों अधिकारी पटना द्वारा समर्पित प्रतिवेदन तथा आयोग स्तर पर की गई समीक्षा क्रम में निम्नांकित।
देखिए जितने भी लोग देख रहे हैं कुछ कारणों के कारण हमें लाइव बंद करना पड़ा और लाइव हम आ रहे हैं कुछ अलग जगह जहाँ पे बहुत सारे अभ्यर्थी ना जुटे हुए हैं, तो उस लाइव में जरूर जुड़िएगा।